Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, just wanting to hope everybody had a very safe and happy Thanksgiving yesterday. I know that myself, my wife, and we had a wonderful time. It was good to have family around. I hope everybody felt the same. Guys, it doesn't get any better heading into this week on a 4-game win streak. But the reason why I'm sporting the Avalanche hat, Avalanche play tonight at 5:30. It will be coming on during the show. I'm not going to be watching it. I'm going to be watching it, but not during the show. But just sporting both the Avalanche and the Denver Broncos. And we just want to keep this energy and excitement going. The Avalanche won the game last time they played. Who'd they play? Not Quebec. Who's the other one? Why am I saying older teams like Ottawa Senators? I don't know where that came from. Anyways, the Avalanche won, and they got to keep it going tonight. They're playing against the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota, and then they play again tomorrow night, and then the Broncos play on Sunday. So this is a Colorado sports weekend for sure. Absolutely for sure. Once again, guys, thanks so much for being in the chat. Thanks for much. Sorry, guys. Thanks so much for watching and for your support. Really, really do appreciate it. Wearing the Broncos breakdown gear because it's a little bit cool over here in Southern California. Had some rain earlier today and all that, so just kind of trying to stay a little bit warm and just thought I'd change things up a little bit. D-Rock batting leadoff is in the house. D-Rock says, Big Bill. I said, Big D-Rock, what is happening? Batting second, Mohammed Badri. Good evening, Bill. Good evening, Mohammed. Glad to have both of you guys in the chat. Let's see. D-Rock says, happy belated Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble. I guess I could have done without doing that, huh? But hey, you know what? It's all fun, man. Hey, when the Broncos are winning and the Avalanche is winning, I get kind of giddy, man. I get kind of giddy because, hey, these are good times, fun times. I'll get into a whole lot of Bronco stuff tonight. We have a sad news on a passing, and I'll get into all of that. From Las Vegas, Nevada, my brother-in-law, Rudy Torres, says here also in Las Vegas. Absolutely, Rudy. Just gave that big shout out. All right, guys, let's jump into the first topic. Got many, many topics tonight. Thanks so much for each and every one of you for being on the show the day after Thanksgiving and a very, very long weekend. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. Oh, Kamani. Sorry about that, man. Kamani, Bill, where's the turkey? Where's the turkey? Happy Thanksgiving. Absolutely, man. I really, really do appreciate every single one of you watching the show. It means a lot. All right, here we go again. Coming off of a 2-game suspension for leading with his helmet, Kareem Jackson has yet again been suspended. That's right, absolutely been suspended again. In the game against the Vikings, Jackson led with his helmet against Josh Dobbs, and the ball was fumbled and recovered by Denver. There was 0 flags. 0. None. No flags thrown for a helmet-led hit. Yet, the NFL reviewed the play and slapped a 2-game suspension? No, double that. A 4-game suspension on Jackson after the fact. Now, see, that's what bothers me. I absolutely do not agree with going back after the fact. Okay, if it wasn't called on the field, how can you go back and then change what wasn't called? Okay, that to me, that would be like that would be like a touchdown that wasn't called a touchdown in the game. And it was the last play of the game. And the team that should have gotten that touchdown didn't get it. But the NFL goes back and reviews it and said, oh, yeah, that's a touchdown. Game over. The team that lost on the field ends up winning because the NFL changes it. That's what I'm talking about. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. What is Kareem Jackson supposed to do? Okay, people say, well, lead with your shoulder. Okay, well, if you look at the play closely, Dobbs is a running back. Yes, he's a quarterback on the team of the Minnesota Vikings, but he was a running back on that particular play. The tight end, I believe it was Hawkinson, he was the quarterback, quarterback, took the snap, pitched it back to Dobbs to run around the end. It was 3rd and 1 inside Broncos territory, and Kareem Jackson blows up Dobbs, hitting him. He did not hit helmet to helmet. It was not helmet to helmet. Go back and look at the replay. It was not helmet to helmet. He hit him right here, and the helmet, because Dobbs took the hit here, his head's going to come down because it's a blow. The helmet comes up, catches him in the chin. All of a sudden, the NFL rules that's a helmet to helmet. Well, they said he launched himself and led with his helmet. Okay, I'm going to get into let me follow that up real quick because this is extremely important. Okay, extremely important into why these NFL players, and I'm not just talking about the Broncos. I'm talking about all the teams, every team in the NFL, all 32 teams. And this is a major problem because the NFL has it in black and white that you cannot launch, you cannot use your helmet, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm going to get into an incident that happened against the Broncos that was called on the field as a penalty, but no suspension. And NFL is targeting Kareem Jackson on purpose. They're saying that he's a hitman, so to speak. And I know Kamani calls me Hitman Bill, but this is a whole different type of thing. In my opinion, they are targeting Kareem Jackson because they're saying he's a, quote, assassin kind of guy, or he's dirty, or he doesn't play by the rules. You know, can you imagine if Jack Tatum of the Raiders of yesteryear from the 70s, and I know a lot of you guys might not know who Jack Tatum was, go back in YouTube and type in Jack Tatum on the hit on Darryl Stingley that paralyzed Darryl Stingley in a preseason game on a ball that was way overthrown. I mean, he would have been kicked out of the league, in my opinion, but not today. I mean, not then, but today he probably would be. So I'm just saying, let me follow up that beginning topic with this. Justin Simmons, Patrick Surtain II, and Tom Brady have all been in support and have Kareem Jackson's back. And here's the reason why. Excuse me. KJ has fellow Broncos players as well as Tom Jackson coming to his defense in lieu of the 4-game suspension. Simmons said, and I quote, "This is unbelievable. Dobbs on that play was a running back. The tight end was under center and snapped the ball and tossed it back to Dobbs, who wasn't defenseless." That's a key word. Wasn't defenseless. On 3rd and 1, where you're fighting for every yard, how are you supposed to stop the runner from falling forward? End quote. Great comment. Great comment by Justin Simmons. What are you supposed to do? Just turn your back and go, okay, get the yard. No, this is football. This is not flag football. This is contact football. You make contact. And if, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, but these players know going into a sport like the NFL where you are potentially able to get hurt, seriously hurt, and maybe paralyzed like Darryl Stingley, you need to know the risks. It's just like any other high-risk job or profession. And I'm not going to name some because I don't want to get backlash from comments and stuff, on my shows. But you know what jobs and careers that are out there that are in harm's way. Okay. And it's not just sports. Football is a contact sport which involves possible serious repercussions. You hit your head a certain way, you can be paralyzed. You break a leg, you tore your ACL, MCL, and PCL like Williams did. Yeah, it can be career-ending, detrimental. It can be health detrimental as well. So with these guys know going in, and the NFL is trying to dumb this down. I've mentioned this many, many, many times in my shows. The NFL is trying to put skirts on these guys and say you can't do this. They know full well the possibility of being injured. Now, should the NFL do everything it can to protect them? Yes. But don't put skirts on them. Don't tell them that they can't tackle a certain way or can't hit a certain way. That is absolutely taking away from the game. It really is. And I'm not saying go out there and purposely try and break a guy's leg or to purposely try and take him out, with a hard hit. But if it happens, I mean, there are many, many plays. Look at Terrell Davis. Going back to those guys who you watch this show and you old enough to know and watch Terrell Davis when he there was an interception, I believe. The Broncos obviously had the ball. It was an interception, and Terrell Davis went down to make the tackle, and he landed awkwardly and got rolled up, and he tore his ACL. It happens. It's not done necessarily on purpose, but it happens. Was Kareem Jackson trying to hit helmet to helmet to Josh Dobbs? I don't know. I'm not Kareem Jackson. But going by that play, it sure didn't look like he was trying to hit the helmet. He hit him right here. Dobbs goes down because of the blow, and the helmet comes up. Now, how in heaven's name is Kareem Jackson supposed to stop that? If he dives for his legs and injures his legs, that'll be a penalty because he went low. The NFL is making it so you can't play defense the way defense is supposed to be played. And it's frustrating. Let me continue. All right. Simmons also referred to the hit that Cortland Sutton took from a Buffalo Bills player who drew the flag but wasn't suspended. Tom Brady said, and I quote, "There is a lot of mediocrity in the NFL and no consistency when it comes to penalties." End quote. I absolutely agree. Totally agree. And that's why I say the NFL is targeting Kareem Jackson for whatever reason they're targeting. And they say that, they're referencing or whatever, implicating that he's a dirty player, that he constantly goes out and does this on purpose. I say the opposite. I say this is what he was taught in high school or college. And now he's in professional football, and the NFL is trying to dumb it down and put skirts and flags on these guys and turn them into pansies, basically. Don't touch this guy. Don't hit this guy. He's a quarterback. Can't touch him. Bull crap. You can. And if he's a running back on a play, you can hit him. And I didn't see a single issue with that hit. And neither did the referees in that game. But the NFL league office had to go and look at Kareem Jackson because, in my opinion, they don't like the guy. I'm being forthright, right here from me, from my feelings. They don't like him. Period. Otherwise, the Buffalo Bills player should have been suspended for the hit on Cortland Sutton, which was helmet to helmet. This one wasn't. All right, I move on. Back to the chat before I get way too wound up. Okay. Kamani, you nailed it. Just like I said, I think they're picking on Kareem. Absolutely they are. Absolutely. And I don't know why, other than the fact they don't like him or they don't like the Broncos or something. I have no idea. Other players do it and they kind of look another way. Well, yeah. I mean, that was a penalty. So, we're not gonna suspend him. I mean, it's only one time. I mean, come on, seriously? Okay, Rudy says, still both helmets hit? They did. But again, if you look at the video, Kareem comes in here, right around in this area, hits him in the chest. Dobbs is going to lower his head because he's taking a blow. I mean, you get hit here, your head's going to come down. And then Kareem comes up and hits him. That is a deflective move. That is an absolute deflective move. It was not a targeted helmet to helmet. It was a targeted helmet to chest. What is wrong with that? Running backs put their helmet down every single freaking time they go into the line. Every time. So every running back that goes into the line against linemen or linebackers that put their head down and hits them in the chest, they should be penalized. If the rule states you cannot lead with your head or your helmet, and the running backs, every single running back does, every single running back should be penalized. If that's what the rule states. I mean, seriously, you see quarterbacks diving over the top when they're at the goal line, like on 3rd and 1 or something, and you see quarterbacks jumping up and diving over the line. And where are they leading with? Their freaking helmet. They're leading with their helmet. Oh, that's okay. But with Kareem Jackson, that's not okay. That's not okay. Yeah, the NFL is double standard, and it needs to stop. Needs to stop. All right, I got to move on. I could do a whole hour on this. I've already done 17 minutes, so we got to keep moving on. I agree, Mohammed. They're making the game so soft. They really are. And they're making it so, in my opinion, they want scores in the 50s and 60s. Because if you take the defense out of these games, you're going to have a shootout every single week of games in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. And that's all well and good, but don't water it down. Don't water it down. These teams need to earn it, not given on a free ride because the defense can't hit anybody. I mean, that's exactly what it's coming down to. And you guys are totally dead on. Totally dead on. D-Rock says the NFL will roll out those ridiculous padded helmet caps they use in training. Oh, yeah, that's probably something else that's coming. And that'll look really freaking stupid. I mean, you got these big old pillow things on the helmet that look like go look at some of the practices. They look stupid. Absolutely stupid. Well, yes, it's protecting their head. They got into this sport knowing full well the ramifications that could possibly happen. I've stated many, many times, there's many professions out there where people put themselves in harm's way. They volunteer. They volunteer. Nobody forces an NFL player to go in the NFL. They choose to. Why? Because of the money and the fame and the fortune and the trophies and the Hall of Fame and the MVP and all pro. And I don't fault them one bit. But for every positive thing they go in there for, there's a negative of a possibility of being seriously hurt. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. All right. I got to keep going. One more comment. Rudy says, yes, they still hit, meaning that the helmet still hit. That's true. But if that's the case and they're going to call helmet to helmet on something like that, then the rule needs to be changed. Completely needs to be changed because that is absolutely preposterous. That is so freaking stupid. It's just like when a quarterback is running and he slides late and a guy hits him, it's a penalty. Well, that's on the quarterback. He slid late. It shouldn't be on the guy who's trying to make a tackle. It's just like Tom Brady said, there's mediocrity. He said there's a lot of mediocrity in the NFL and no consistency. Absolutely zero consistency. I move on. All right, time to move on. This is a sad note. And for those of you who are old enough, or maybe you've even seen it on YouTube or in replays on NFL Network or whatever, the Denver Broncos back-to-back Super Bowl championships of 1997, 1998 has lost a member from those back-to-back Super Bowls. Here it is. Denver Broncos back-to-back Super Bowl champion Harold Hasselbeck has passed away at the young age of 56. His battle with cancer ended yesterday, on Thanksgiving. Hasselbeck also played in the CFL and won the Grey Cup, which is equivalent to the NFL's Super Bowl. He is survived by his wife, Andrea, 4 children, Ashley, Turan, Avon, and Kian, as well as 4 grandchildren. Harold Hasselbeck, an outstanding player for the Denver Broncos, has passed away at a very, very tender age of 56. Broncos country sad, Broncos organization is sad, and Broncos retirees and former Broncos are extremely sad. Harold Hasselbeck, may you rest in peace, and may your family live on with your legacy as they continue their life without you. Harold, you'll be missed. You'll be missed. All right. Let's see if I have this right. Yes. All right. Sean Payton. As the Broncos prepare for the Cleveland Browns and on a 4-game winning streak, Sean Payton says there's no time to exhale and relax. What that means is don't drop your guard. Don't say, oh, man, we won 4 in a row. We beat Kansas City. Can you believe that, man? And then we beat Buffalo. And then we come back against the Vikings. Oh, my gosh. Nobody can stop us. Don't even think that for a minute. Don't even think that for a minute. And what Sean Payton is saying is don't exhale. Don't sit there and go, yeah, man, this feels great. Whew, man, we got that off our back. We got that off our chest. We feel great. That's when you stumble. That's when you stumble. And his exact words are no time to exhale and relax. I totally agree. Just because Denver has beaten the Chiefs after 16 games, the Bills in New York on Monday night, and the comeback against the Vikings doesn't mean anything going forward. It means absolutely nothing until you can keep it going. If Denver wants to make a serious push for the playoffs, it has to continue each week. And that starts this coming Sunday. And I'll get into that topic in just a little bit as we continue on. All right. This is interesting. And I can't confirm this, but I'm throwing this out there because I saw this on Twitter. We all know that you can't trust everything on the internet. And I've tried to get a hold of some sources and things, and nothing is confirmed as of yet. So I'm saying this with a very, very strong grain of salt. Don't take this for actual fact. And in some cases, I'm kind of wondering if I should even throw this out there. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this by prefacing this segment. There's a possibility that the Denver Broncos may get back a receiver prior to next year. Here it is. Again, I'm saying this with not tongue in cheek, but I'm saying this with a grain of salt. This is not fact as of yet. And I know that when I start my show, I say honesty, and I do mean honesty. I say everything as the truth. And that's why I'm saying I'm not sure on this one, but I'm going to throw it out there because it may come true. Okay? Guys, keep that in mind, all right? According to Broncos insiders, I don't know who those are. I have no idea. It didn't come out with a name or anything. But according to Broncos insiders, Tim Patrick could be coming off IR and may be available for the Broncos against the Browns this Sunday. Now, like I said, I have not heard anything concrete. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm saying it's a possibility. And who knows? Tim Patrick could come off of IR, but is he going to be ready for Sunday's game? I have not heard anything about him being in practice. I haven't heard anything about him being officially off of IR. So I'm not saying it's fact. I'm saying it's a possibility. There's a huge difference, a huge difference. So please, whatever you guys do not quote me and say that it's a fact. Go back to this video if you have any questions, because I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying it's a possibility. There's a huge difference. All right. Speaking of possibilities, this one seems more as a fact. I continue. PJ Locke, the Denver Broncos are getting healthy as they get ready to face the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. Safety PJ Locke returned to practice, and the Broncos are hoping he will be able to go come Sunday. With KJ, Kareem Jackson, out for 4 games, the Broncos desperately need a healthy Locke to go opposite Justin Simmons at safety. I totally agree. We have to have PJ Locke healthy. We have to have him in the lineup because I'll tell you what, and I'm going to get into Cleveland and their weapons and all of that thing moving forward, but we have to have PJ Locke. Absolutely have to. He's a force to be reckoned with back there. And with Kareem Jackson out because the NFL is, making an example of him week after week. And I know you're going to say, well, Kareem Jackson put himself in that position. Yes and no. And I'm not going to go back to I spent almost dang near 20 minutes of the show talking about it. So you want to go back and rewatch it, that's fine. But I'm not going to I've already stated my case. And so did Justin Simmons, and so did Patrick Surtain, and so did Tom Brady. So there's a lot of knowledgeable people out there that have already supported Kareem Jackson. All right. This things like this bother me. Okay, things like this really, really bother me. Because apparently the First Amendment of freedom of speech doesn't happen. Well, unless politically, you're on their side of the table. But freedom of speech does not exist as freedom in this country anymore. You can't say certain words. You can't say harmful words. You can't say derogatory words. And I understand that. I totally get it. But when there's a word or a name in reference to something about the history of this country, how is that wrong? How is that apologetic in nature? Here we go. During the Sunday game between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, Jim Nantz confused, and I use confused in quotes, himself with a former NFL team name. Josh Allen of the Bills was replaced by Kyle Allen due to the Bills' large lead over the Jets. Nantz referred to Kyle Allen as the former Washington Redskins quarterback. Uh-oh. You can't say Redskins? Why not? They're the Indians. Sorry. That's number 2 for me because you can't say Cleveland Indians either. Holy smokes. Why not? This is history. The Washington Redskins were named for the Indians that were in that area. And they were nicknamed the Redskins. Their color of skin is reddish. How in heaven's name can you not call them that? And do you know that today there is a band of Indians that are forming a petition to try and force the Washington owners to change the nickname back to the Redskins? Now, I'm not saying this. That's the that's the Indians in that area that are pushing to get the nickname Redskins back in Washington for the football team. Why is that offensive? I mean, I know that there's offensive names out there that people call people, and they shouldn't. Those are hurtful. But when a team is honoring a particular tribe or a particular people of this country, how in heaven's name is that offensive? And Cleveland Indians can't call themselves the Cleveland Indians? They have to call themselves the Guardians? Why? Because the name Indian is offensive? You got to be kidding me. You've absolutely got to be kidding me. That doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. Well, they did a lot of, bad things. You can't call the San Diego State, or you can call them the Aztecs, but you can't have the Aztec guy on the field. Well, because they had a spear. Come on, man. Since when has America gotten so soft that we cannot honor people and tribes or type of people on our football team. It's an honor. It is an absolute honor to be named from a football team. If you're people like Indians, Braves, Atlanta Braves, saying Minnesota Vikings. Oh, Vikings were bad. Oh, they were. They're not going to change. Come on. It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I continue. Nance caught his error, which I don't call it error, but anyways, Nance caught his error, but also was forced to apologize. Forced by whom? Oh, maybe CBS, huh? Forced by the CBS executives, most likely to apologize because he said Redskins instead of Commanders. Oh my gosh. I'm beside myself. I don't understand it. I don't get it. How is that offensive? When a tribe of Indians wants that name back. it just doesn't make an ounce of sense. All right. Let's see. D-Rock says, I heard they are suing the Commanders for changing the names from the Redskins to the Commanders. Well, there you go. See, I just mentioned that, and D-Rock backed me up on that. It's absolutely true. They want the name Redskins back. And this is not by any other people other than the Indian people that want the name back. Why? Because they know it is an honor. It's an honor to be named as a nickname to a sports team. It absolutely is. Yeah, no kidding, Muhammad. Everybody's so sensitive. Yeah, no kidding. Don't say that. It's offensive to like 10 people. Well, I mean, it's just so. Muhammad, I am putting this up there because I absolutely agree with you 100%. I thought this was a free country. Absolutely thought it was a free country. But it's only free to a certain degree, to a certain point, if you follow a certain direction or whatever. I'm not going to get political because that's not what the show's about, but, you understand where this is coming from. Absolutely. I hope you do. All right. Listen to this. Listen to this. People were lambasting Russell Wilson last year under Nathaniel Hackett. Was it Russell Wilson's fault or was it Nathaniel Hackett's fault? I say it was Nathaniel Hackett's fault, and I can prove it because Sean Payton is our head coach now. And guess what? Those who said that Russell Wilson was all washed up after last year and he was never going to amount to anything in Denver, and that was a horrible contract they gave him and blah, 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 blah. Listen to this under Sean Payton. Top 5 in the NFL. Russell Wilson is in the top 5 in the NFL in the following. Passing touchdowns, 19. Touchdown percentage, 6.4, meaning he gets a touchdown every 6.4 passes. Wow. Interception percentage, 1.3%. That is huge. His interception total is way down, way down. Passer rating, listen to this. Passer rating, 93, no, 95? You're getting warmer. 104.3. That's it. 104.3. Fourth quarter comebacks, 4. Game-winning drives this season, 4. All of this is in the first half of the season, and Sean Payton is absolutely working miracles with Russell Wilson. Absolutely. I just gave you Russell Wilson's stats in the first half of the season. He's in the top 5 of passers in the NFL. Who would be above him? Patrick Mahomes? C.J. Stroud? Who else would be? Maybe Herbert? Maybe the one from Philadelphia. I can't think of his name. He would be up there. Maybe the quarterback for Baltimore. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's just a few, I should say, of people, a handful of people that could be above Russell Wilson if he's in the top 5. It didn't say he was 5th. It said he was in the top 5, which usually means he's 5th. Otherwise, it would have stayed in the top 4, top 3, whatever. But that's remarkable considering where he was last year under pathetic Hackett. And now Hackett's destroying the Jets as their offensive coordinator and play caller, which I love because the Jets just lost today to the Dolphins, which helped out the Broncos in the playoff picture. Yep, playoffs. I'll get to that in a little bit too. But yes, Nathaniel Hackett is doing it poorly in New York like he did in Denver. Difference is he's not a head coach in New York. It doesn't matter. He's still the offensive coordinator, and they're still pathetic. I'd move on. Speaking of Russell Wilson, belief and winning go a long way in never quitting till the final clock ticks down to 0. This was very true during John Elway's years in Denver, and the Broncos players are believing in Russell Wilson like they did with John Elway. Against the Minnesota Vikings last Sunday night, with Denver trailing 20-15, Russell Wilson led a Broncos comeback and threw a 15-yard TD pass to Courtland Sutton, who made a remarkable catch over 2 defenders, with 1 minute and 3 seconds left that capped a 10-play, 75-yard winning touchdown. Final score, Denver 21, Minnesota 20. I just stated that Russell Wilson's in the top 5 in comebacks. He's got 4 already this year, and he's got 4 winning touchdowns and 4 fourth-quarter drives. That's a winning quarterback. That's the one that the team believes in, like they did with John Elway, and said, hey, as long as we got the ball and we got Russell Wilson, we can win this game. Think about it. Broncos have won 5 games this year. He's had 4 fourth-quarter comebacks. What does that tell you? That tells you, well, I don't know if it tells you, but it tells me that the guys are believing in him, that he is able to get the job done. Not like he couldn't do last year because Hackett had no freaking clue what he's doing. Sean Payton does. And the Broncos are proving that camaraderie and believing in the player next to you, believing in the offense, believing in the defense and special teams, this team is on the move upwards. And Sean Payton has everybody believing, and Russell Wilson is executing the plays, and the Broncos are on a 4-game win streak. All right. Now, there has been a Denver Bronco flex. They've been flexed out of a game. Is it this Sunday's game against Cleveland? Nope. It's the following week at Houston. The Broncos-Texans game a week from Sunday has been flexed out of the afternoon game to the early game. Why would they flex out the Broncos in the late game and go to the early game? I'll tell you why. They have been replaced by the Panthers-Tampa Bay game. Panthers-Tampa Bay? Carolina Panthers are pathetic. I don't know about Tampa Bay. I don't know if they're going to go anywhere anytime fast. But it's not about the Panthers and Tampa Bay. It's about the Broncos and the Texans. Here's why. With the morning games not having a possible playoff scenario, the NFL wanted to showcase the Broncos. They wanted to showcase the Broncos and their push to the playoffs. Wow, that is awesome. But there's a catch. There's not a catch to the game being flexed. That's already been done. But there's a catch. If the Broncos lose to Cleveland, heaven forbid, but if the Broncos lose to Cleveland this Sunday, that also means that the Houston Texans game that the Broncos will be playing in Houston that morning will be even more important because the Broncos will definitely need to beat the Texans to kind of push them back up the ladder on the playoff picture. And so this Sunday's game is extremely important. The Broncos cannot look past the Cleveland Browns. There's no way, shape, or form they can look past the Cleveland Browns because this is not an easy team. Cleveland is a very, very difficult team, and I'll get into that in just a little bit. But the Cleveland Browns are not the Cleveland Browns of yesteryear. This is not your dad's Cleveland Browns team that constantly was pathetic and lost to the Broncos in many, many playoff games and championship games heading to the Super Bowl. This is not that team. This is a totally, totally different team. All right. But the Broncos are in position to do what? I'll get to that in just a second. Let me get back to the chat real quick. Rudy Torres says, apparently not you get paid to come here and don't even have to work. What are you talking about, Rudy? What the heck is that talking about? I don't know, man. That was something weird. Hey, welcome to the chat there, Patrick Hardy. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for being in the chat. Nope, too dirty. You must be referring to Kareem Jackson, referring that he's too dirty in his play and his hits. Okay, well, some view him that way, some don't. I just say that he's a hard hitter. He reminds me an awful lot of Steve Atwater. Now, if Steve Atwater was still playing today, he would probably be suspended indefinitely too, because he led. I mean, just go back and look at Super Bowl 32 when he hits his own player and hits a Green Bay Packers defender. Yes, he led with his shoulder, but he still was launching. And you know, I just don't like the way the game is being dumbed down. I really don't. It just bothers me. All right. Speaking of the Broncos on a 4-game win streak, can you say playoffs? That's what I'm talking about. Can you people out there say Broncos are in the playoff hunt? I sure can. I sure can. And here it is. The AFC playoff picture as of today, halfway through the season, looks like this. Dealing with the wild card only, because the Broncos are not going to win their division. It would take a major miracle for the Broncos to win their division. So looking at the wild card only, Cleveland, Houston, and Pittsburgh are 1, 2, and 3 in that order as far as wild card. Okay? Cleveland, Houston, and Pittsburgh. Right? And remember, we play Cleveland this coming Sunday. In the hunt is Buffalo at 6-4. Well, they won. No, I'm sorry. Buffalo didn't play today. Sorry. Buffalo at 6-4. Denver 5-5. Colts 5-5. And Bengals 5-5. Remember, Denver plays the Browns this Sunday and can help themselves with a win against the Browns. Absolutely, they can. Absolutely. Now, are they going to take over and jump over the Cleveland Browns to be in that number 1 wild card spot? Probably not. But if we beat the Browns, we sure put a big, huge dent in them. That's for sure. I think the Browns are 7-3. Denver's 5-5. So if we beat the Browns, we go to 6-5. They go to 7-4. And who knows, guys? Who knows? Every single game from here on out is very, very important. And I know everybody out there says, and I say the same thing, every game in the NFL is important. You only play 17 of them. You need to win at least 10 of the 17. And when you start out 1-5, that's pretty difficult to win 10 and only lose, win 10 and only lose 2. Or win 9, I should say, because they were 1-5. Win 9 more and only lose 2. That's very, very difficult. It's possible. It's conceivable. The Broncos have a very, very good opportunity. They have some tough teams in front of them. Cleveland this Sunday, followed by Houston. They also have to play Detroit and the Chargers twice. You know, we got a little easy game in the middle when we play, not in the middle, but towards the end when we play the Patriots. But there's not that easy of teams. We've got the Raiders to end the season. If it comes down to the last game of the season, you know the Raider fans and the Raider players are going to get up for that. If it comes down to that, I don't know if it's going to. All I'm saying is the playoffs are right there in front of us, and it's Broncos. If you think about it, guys, it's the Broncos' chances are in their hands. It's in their backyard. If the Broncos want to make the playoffs, they need to win 5 of the next 7. They can only lose 2. They have to go 10-7. There's no way, shape, or form they're going to make the playoffs if they go 9-8. If they make the playoffs at 9-8, that means the entire AFC wild card just melted down, and Denver slid in there at 9-8. Denver has to win 5 of the next 7, or their last 7. They have to, and it's not going to be easy, guys. It's not going to be easy. But the Bronco players are believing in Sean Payton, and Bronco players are believing in Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson is executing what Sean Payton is asking him to do. Not asking him to do a whole lot, just do what he needs to do. And that's what's happening. And that's why the Denver Broncos are on a 4-game winning streak and snapped a 16-game losing streak against Kansas City and beat Buffalo in Buffalo on Monday Night Football and snapped that streak that they hadn't beaten Buffalo since in Buffalo. And also they snapped a losing streak on Monday night. All that under Sean Payton. Why? Because the Broncos players are believing and they're getting the job done. All right. Alex Smith, welcome to the chat, my friend. Welcome to the show. Good gosh, man. Bill, be sure to clap if anyone gets hurt. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. But it's not, and I mentioned this many times, and I mentioned it during the neighborhood shows. And honestly, guys, I really don't want a person's career ended. That's not what I'm doing that for. It's not what I'm saying. I'm doing it because I'm glad they're out of the game, which makes it easier for the Broncos to win. And I know people say, well, you know what? If you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best at their best. Well, that's true. But in a very physical game where people get hurt and injured, then yes, there are times when you need to take advantage of somebody else's mistake or misfortune or injury. I mean, if a quarterback throws an interception, am I supposed to sit back and go, oh, what a shame. I'm sorry the guy threw an interception, but it benefits the Broncos. So why wouldn't I be happy? I'm happy he throws an interception. Am I bummed that he threw an interception and threw it to the Bronco player? No. Any more than I'm bummed that a guy got injured. Okay, he's out for a week or two. Okay, let me ask you guys this question in chat, and I want an answer. Do you really think that the Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans, and I believe it's the Chargers and then the Lions, those 4 games, do you think any single one of them are sitting back going, God, man, what a shame that Kareem Jackson's not playing in this game. I really feel bad for him. They're not saying that. They're sitting there going, yes, he's not in there. They may not be doing it outwardly so their teammates can see or their coaches can see or the media. Of course, they're not doing it for that. Inside, good and doggone well, they are glad and happy that Kareem Jackson is not in the game because it makes it easier for them against the Broncos defense. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about trying to end a guy's career. I'm talking about taking him out for the game to make it easier for the Broncos to win. Now, the Cleveland Browns don't have Deshaun Watson in this game because he's injured and out for the year. So does it make it easier for the Broncos to possibly win? Absolutely it does. Does it make this guy here, me, happy that Watson not here? Absolutely it does. Because it makes it an easier time, possibly, that the Broncos have a chance to win. When the Broncos played the Vikings last week, Josh Dobbs is an incredible quarterback. And he was hard to corral and hard to figure out. But the Broncos defense did enough to win the game and keep the Broncos in the game because of Josh Dobbs. Could they have done that against Kirk Cousins? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. But they were able to against Josh Dobbs because he was not Kirk Cousins. He was not the regular quarterback. So it helped out the Broncos. And any advantage that a team and a coach can get to help out their team is not their fault. And being injured is not necessarily the fault of the person that got injured. It's just an accident. It happens. And should the Broncos, have somebody go down, from the Browns, that benefits the Broncos. But it also benefits the Browns if it's vice versa. But we don't want to go down that road. All right. Denver, this is awesome. This is totally awesome. I love this. Denver Broncos draw fans. Now, I'm not just talking about at Mile High, because we all know that the Broncos have sold out since basically 1970. They've sold out every game in Mile High, whether or not it's Bronco fans. There was a lot of Viking fans last week, which I didn't want to see. But, hey, if it's sold out, it's sold out. And that's awesome. Listen to this. This is very, very interesting. A lot of teams' fans travel well. However, these numbers might surprise you. Home and away combined for 2023 attendance through half of the season is as follows. Denver is fourth with drawing 100.5% fans. What that means is it's a completely sold out and standing room only. Meaning you can buy a ticket, you don't have a seat, but you can buy a ticket and walk around the concourse or whatever. You're still in the stadium, you're still able to watch the game. You just don't have a seat. So you might be in I don't know, you might be in the like at Mile High, they have a thing called the United level or the United lounge or something. And they've got big screen TVs in there, and they've got, nice lounge, comfy chairs and things of that nature. You got concessions right across the concourse area there. So you can be at the stadium and not have a seat. That's what that means. 100.5%. That's the Broncos at number 4 with drawing people to their games. By comparison, the Steelers draw just 98.7% of a sellout. Now, that surprised me because Steelers fans travel. They really do travel. I've seen them in Mile High Stadium when I'm watching on TV, and they got that stupid freaking towel they wave around their head. They think that's going to give them luck or something. I don't know. But, they got the stupid, terrible towels and all that kind of stuff. And, yeah, it is terrible. Terrible to have those. Anyways, I know you're saying, well, Broncos have palm bounds. That we've had that. Yeah, I understand that. But not in every game. Like the Steelers come out there and they think that towel is going to give them luck. Anyways, they only draw 98.7% of sellouts, whether they're home or away. Very interesting. The top 10 draws for fan support are as follows. San Francisco 49ers, 102.7% sellout. Wow. Bengals, 100.7%. Colts, 100.7%. Denver, 100.5%, like I mentioned. Kansas City, surprised me, 100.4%. Miami, 100.4%. Browns, 100.3%. And I'm wondering if that's because the Browns are on a winning, doing well this year. That's probably why. Eagles, obviously, 100.1%. Lions, because the Lions are on a roll, 8-2. Lions, 100% sellout. And Rams, that surprised me, 100% sellout. Maybe because they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. In the division, the Chargers are 97.6%, which 97%, in my opinion, are opposing fans. So that's why it's 97.6, because 0.6 is Charger fans. Anyways, and the Raiders are 98.4%. They're higher draw than the Chargers, and but not quite as high as the Chiefs. So the Broncos lead the division with fan support, home or away, followed by Kansas City, followed by Raiders, followed by Chargers. Surprising? The only one that surprised me in that was Pittsburgh. I really, really was surprised that Pittsburgh was that low. It really was. I mean, Steeler fans, they always travel quite well, but I don't know why they're below 100% for sellout home and away. All right. Okay, Rudy, thanks for your support, man. Really appreciate the comment. Rudy says, "You go, Bill. You bring reality to focus. Love you, man." Rudy, really appreciate that, man. I know you're my brother-in-law, but you didn't have to be so kind in those comments, but I really, really do appreciate. Means an absolute lot. It means a ton. Guys, before I get to the last topic for the show tonight, please, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button. That's the best way you can support the channel, is by hitting the like button. That lets people know that you like the show, that you support the show, and it really, really goes a tremendously long way when it comes to viewership on the show, the network, and it's much, much appreciated. Alex Smith says, why did the NFL change our game versus Houston? Okay, I alluded to that, but I will go back because you asked the question, and it's only fair for me to answer it as opposed to saying just go back and watch the show. That's not right. So the reason why they flexed it out is because let me go back really quick to that, and I'll read it verbatim so you can you'll know exactly what was said. Okay, here it is. The Broncos-Texans game a week from Sunday has been flexed out of the afternoon game to the early game. Reason? Here it is. They have been replaced by the Panthers and Tampa Bay game. Now, the Panthers-Tampa Bay game is not the reason why it was flexed out. Here's the reason why. A possible playoff scenario, the NFL wanted to okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back. With the morning games not having a possible playoff scenario, the NFL wanted to showcase the Broncos and their push to the playoffs. That's the main reason right there, Alex. They flexed it out of the afternoon game to the morning because there is no really good playoff scenario. Houston's in the hunt for their division as well as a playoff, and the Broncos are in the hunt for a playoff spot. It's a wild card. So therefore, the NFL wanted to showcase and put a meaningful game in the morning when there isn't a meaningful game in the morning when it comes to playoffs. In the afternoon game, there's a game in the afternoon that has playoff implications, as well as the Ravens-Chargers game Sunday night. So they wanted 3 different time slots to feature playoff scenario situations. And that's the reason why the Broncos were flexed out of the afternoon and flexed into the morning. It's not a slap on the Broncos by any stretch of the imagination. It's an absolute it's a I wouldn't say a vote of confidence, but it's a game in a situation in which the NFL wanted to put the Broncos in the best possible spot for the fans across the country to be able to see a great matchup between a C.J. Stroud-led Houston Texans team and a Russell Wilson, Sean Payton-led Denver Broncos team. That's the reason for the flex. Absolutely reason. Alex, no problem, my friend. Absolutely no problem. Do not ever apologize for being late. Hey, you guys can watch this show live when you want. You can watch it when it's recorded. It's immediately recorded after the show is off the air. It's immediately uploaded to YouTube. I believe YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You guys can watch it at your leisure. Do appreciate each and every one of you watching live on the chat, in the chat, I should say, or watching live across the different platforms. Never, ever, ever, Alex, or anybody else ever apologize for not being here on time or being late, whatever it is. You guys have family. You have obligations. This is Friday night. This is the beginning of a weekend. I don't expect everybody to be here when they have other things going on. I just really do appreciate it when you are, whether it's 5 minutes, 5 seconds, or the entire time that the show is on. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right. Alex L says usually play in the afternoon, so hopefully the early time slot doesn't hurt. I hope not. I absolutely hope it doesn't hurt us at all. And I think if Sean Payton is smart enough, which I know he is, like he did with Buffalo, when the Broncos played in Buffalo on that Sunday night, they actually got to Buffalo on Friday, not Saturday. The reason why they got there on Friday is because Sean Payton said he wanted the players to be acclimated to the time change, a 2-hour different time change from Denver. So that's why they got there on a Friday. So then they had all of Saturday to kind of go through the game plan and do what they needed to do. And then when Sunday rolled around, they were already acclimated. So maybe Sean Payton, the game is on Sunday morning. Maybe Sean Payton will get the Broncos there today. I don't know. I don't know if the Broncos got there today or they get there tomorrow. Now, Houston's in Central Time. Denver's in Mountain Time. That's only an hour difference, but it's a morning game. It's a morning game, like Alex said. Maybe, hopefully it won't hurt us because we're used to afternoon games. Hopefully it won't. And not only that, but being a Central Time, if it's a 10 o'clock game in the Pacific time zone where I am, it's an 11 o'clock game in Houston. In Denver, it would be 10 o'clock. It's a 12 o'clock game in Houston. In Denver, it would be 11 o'clock. So there's a lot of different variables that Sean Payton needs to work out to get the players in the proper perspective to play the game. Now, I mentioned that I think maybe he got them there this Friday, that today. No, they're not playing Houston today. They're playing them next week. So I misspoke. Sorry about that. They're playing Cleveland this Sunday in Denver. It's going to be a home game. So I'm sorry if I misspoke. I meant the Houston game is a week from Sunday. Hopefully Sean Payton gets them there early enough to acclimate to the difference in the time, Central Time to Mountain Time, as well as getting them acclimated to playing in a morning game as opposed to an afternoon game. All right, last topic. And once again, guys, thank you so much for being in the chat the day after Thanksgiving. I know you guys have a lot of things going on. I really do appreciate each and every one of you taking the time out on a busy holiday weekend to spend time with this crazy guy, Bronco Bill. I really do appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, last topic for this night's show. Cleveland at Denver. The Denver Broncos will host the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. Cleveland is a much improved team, but without injured Deshaun Watson, could Denver take advantage? I mentioned that earlier. Do the Broncos take advantage? The advantage is there to take. Can they make use of that advantage? I continue. That remains to be seen, however, because the Browns defense is the best in the NFL. If Denver thought the Vikings defense was solid, they had better bring their A game against Cleveland. No doubt about it. The Vikings shut down the Broncos' run game for the most part. They shut down the Broncos' offense and forced 5 field goals before the game-winning drive in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes to go. That was it. The Broncos had 5 field goals. They trailed 20-15 until Russell Wilson led the Broncos down the field on a 10-play, 75-yard drive, which Tyreen was absolutely sensational on that drive. He made great catches after great catches. He did what he had to do to help the Broncos get down the field. And then Cortland Sutton makes that catch at the back of the end zone over top 2 defenders, hanging on the ball above his head as the defender's coming down to try and slap that ball out. Cortland Sutton held on to it, and the Broncos came from behind and beat the Vikings 21-20. It's going to be much different against Cleveland. They have the best defense in the NFL. It's not going to be easy. And Sean Payton is going to have a game plan to beat the Cleveland Browns like nobody's business. He's going to have to come up with some type of game plan. All right, continue. The final score that I have for this game. Denver gets a late touchdown like they did against the Vikings, and the Broncos pull out another nail-biter, beating the Cleveland Browns in Denver this coming Sunday and extend their win streak to 5. I have the Broncos beating the Browns 21-17. There you go, guys. That's this week's show. 21-17, I have the Broncos beating the Browns. Now, I'm a little bit not skeptical, but I'm a little bit scared to say that I have the Broncos winning because most of the time when I say the Broncos are going to win, they end up losing. And I said that when the Broncos played the Vikings, I said the Vikings would win the game, and the Broncos won it. I said the Bills would beat the Broncos, and the Broncos won it. I said the Chiefs would beat the Broncos, and the Broncos won it. So I'm a little kind of, should I have said 21-17 Denver? Well, as the saying goes, the cat's out of the bag now. So, and I spilled the beans and all those other sayings and cliches, but I said it. Denver 21, Cleveland 17. Let's hope I didn't jinx the Broncos win streak this coming Sunday. And that's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Each and every one of you so much. Appreciate all of you in your comments, the chat, the viewership, the support, the thumbs up. Please hit that thumbs up. It does wonders for the show and the network. Greatly appreciate it. Once again, I hope each and every one of you had a happy and safe Thanksgiving. You guys have a wonderful and safe weekend. Before I get out of here, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat like I always do because you guys are the backbone of the show. Without you guys, I'd be talking to the wall, and that wouldn't be nearly as much fun. You guys are amazing. Thanks again, each and every one of you. And I start with D-Rock, who batted leadoff this evening. Got D-Rock, Muhammad Badri, Rudy Torres, Kamani Dixon. Let's see who else. I got Patrick Hardy, Alex Smith. Every single one of you, you guys are the best. I couldn't not do this show with as much energy, as much passion, and as much appreciation for wanting to be here as much as it is that I want to see you guys. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Thanks so much for everything you do for the show and for the network. Greatly appreciate it. Kamani says, yes, you too, Bill. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Kamani also says that the Broncos will beat the Browns 24-16. Okay, I'll go with that. I like that a lot better than coming from behind and winning 21-17. So I like that so much better. You guys have a wonderful, safe, wonderful, got distracted for just a second. Wonderful and safe weekend. We're going to be back here, Mundungus Creevy and myself on Sunday in the afternoon for the Broncos at home against the Cleveland Browns. We'll be doing the Broncos neighborhood. So tune in for that. It's a whole lot of fun. You never know which direction it's going to go, especially when Mundungus is the host. Never know where it's going. But you guys enjoy your weekend. Enjoy a Broncos hopeful win on Sunday. And until I see you guys, let me get back to the chat real quick. Alex says, we need Russ to run the ball. Bill, the Cleveland defense is no joke. It is no joke. It is the best in the NFL. It's going to take an absolute full-on A game and focus for the Denver Broncos to win this game. No mistakes, no stupid penalties, no turnovers, and control the ball, move the ball, and score points. And yes, field goals don't win games, but field goals put you in a position to win the game like we did against the Vikings. Absolutely. Kamani says, yes, can't wait for the Broncos neighborhood. Okay, Kamani, we'll be looking for you. Me and Mundungus will be looking for you. And each and every one of you will be looking for you as well. You guys know the shows throughout the week. We lead it off, like I said, with the Broncos neighborhood on Sunday, and then we roll right straight through the week. I'll have Elevation Orange on Monday that will recap the Broncos Cleveland Browns game, and all the rest of the shows that are on there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then again next Friday. This show, Broncos Breakdown, will be live 5, 6, 7, and 8. Until then, guys, have a wonderful and safe weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you and your family again. And until we see you, we being Mundungus Creevy and myself, this Sunday, you guys stay safe. Talk to you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.